Hello everyone, welcome to the Sleeping Times channel. Today, we bring you a unique journey that will transport you directly to the streets of one of the most prosperous cities of the Roman Empire, where you will witness the last 24 hours of normal life of an entire civilization. Imagine waking up on a golden August morning in 79 AD, when Pompeii was one of the most prosperous cities of the Roman Empire. The sun rises over red terracotta tiles, the aroma of fresh bread spreads through the volcanic stone streets, and life flows in perfect harmony between work and pleasure. But this is not just another ordinary morning. It is the last full day this magnificent city will ever know. Over the next 24 hours, we will walk through the marble streets, breathe the air perfumed by gardens, feel the warmth of relaxing thermal baths, and witness the beauty of a civilization at its peak. Come with me on this unique journey through time, where every moment becomes eternal and every detail reveals the soul of a city that unknowingly is about to be preserved forever. This is the story of Pompeii on its last day of normal life, a celebration of human beauty that transcends time and teaches us what truly matters in life. If you enjoy stories that relax, inspire, and make you reflect on the beauty of life's simple moments, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and hit the notification bell so you never miss anything. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. And remember, every week, we bring new historical journeys and unique moments waiting to lull your dreams. Are you ready for this journey through time? Then, make yourself comfortable, relax, and prepare to dive into Pompeii's last 24 hours. The first golden ray of sun gently touches the red terracotta tiles crowning the houses of Pompeii. The morning light glides through the volcanic stone streets, still damp from the night dew, creating silvery reflections that dance on the polished basalt. The air carries the fresh scent of the Tyrrhenian Sea, mingled with the perfume of olive trees adorning the gardens of the wealthier villas. In the simpler homes, wooden windows slowly begin to open, revealing interiors where the embers from the previous night still emanate a comforting warmth. The city's first sounds are delicate whispers, the gentle dripping of water in the impluvia, small internal courtyards where rainwater collects in marble basins. The Mediterranean wind gently blows through the columns of the peristyles, creating an almost imperceptible melody that cradles the city's gradual awakening. In the kitchens, the fire is carefully rekindled, and the aroma of burning wood mingles with the smell of bread that will soon begin to be prepared. The walls painted with vibrant frescoes, Pompeian reds, deep blues, and shimmering golds come alive with the growing light. In the wider streets, like the Via dell'Abbondanza, the stones still retain the night's coolness. Each basalt block was carefully fitted by master builders, creating a perfect mosaic that withstood decades of chariots and sandals. The raised sidewalks protect pedestrians from mud and waste, an urban innovation that made Pompeii one of the most modern cities of the empire. The aqueduct system already begins to softly murmur, bringing fresh water from distant mountains through underground channels that will feed the public fountains throughout the day. The first seabirds fly over the city, coming from the nearby port where merchant ships await the day's activity. Their soft cries echo among the rooftops, mingling with the distant sound of waves breaking against the stone breakwaters. The breeze carries with it the sea salt and the scent of algae, reminding everyone that Pompeii is a prosperous city, thanks to its strategic position in the Bay of Naples. The sails of fishing boats can already be seen on the horizon, small white dots against the growing blue of the sky. In the gardens of the most elegant domus, flowers begin to open to receive the sun. Red roses, white lilies, and purple violets create a fragrant carpet that will be enjoyed by residents during their morning strolls. The ornamental fountains, decorated with marble statues depicting nymphs and minor gods, begin to gush crystal clear water that reflects the golden light. The sound of running water creates a natural symphony that will accompany the entire morning, providing a sense of peace and prosperity. The public baths, still closed to the public, already show signs of preparation. The slaves responsible for maintenance discreetly check the underground heating systems, the hypercaust, which will keep the water at the perfect temperature for the relaxing baths to come. The subtle steam escaping from the openings creates small clouds that quickly dissipate in the fresh morning air. These baths, with their intricate floor mosaics and wall frescoes, represent the pinnacle of Roman luxury and engineering. The bakeries begin to exhale the unmistakable aroma of fresh bread. The stone ovens, heated during the early hours, reach the ideal temperature to bake the round loaves that will feed the city. The smell of toasted wheat spreads through the narrow streets, mingling with the aroma of aromatic herbs growing in small pots on windowsills. This comforting scent announces that a new day of prosperity is beginning in Pompeii. The mosaics decorating the entrances of the wealthiest houses begin to shine with the growing light. Complex geometric designs, mythological scenes, and even the famous inscription Cave Canem, "Beware of the dog," come to life and colour. These small artistic treasures, made with tesserae of coloured marble, demonstrate the cultural sophistication of a city that values both beauty and functionality. Each mosaic tells a silent story about the tastes and wealth of its owners. The artisans' workshops still remain silent, but their tools are already organised for the approaching day. Bronze hammers, iron chisels, and ceramic moulds await the skilled hands that will create objects of beauty and utility. The smell of metal and clay gently hangs in the air, mingled with the aroma of oils and waxes used in finishing the pieces. These workshops are the creative heart of Pompeii, where art meets commerce. The city slowly awakens, like a sleeping beauty stretching under the first sunbeams. Every stone, every column, every fresco seems to softly sigh, preparing for another day of prosperous and tranquil life. Vesuvius, majestic and silent in the distance, benevolently observes this jewel of the Roman Empire, its verdant slopes promising another day of peace and abundance. No one could imagine that this serene morning would be the last Pompeii would ever know. The Forum, Pompeii's beating heart, begins to come alive with the arrival of the first merchants. Its white marble columns, majestically erected towards the blue sky, cast long, cool shadows over the polished travertine floor. The soft echo of footsteps resonates among the colonnades, creating an urban symphony that announces the start of commercial activities. Statues of emperors and deities silently observe the growing movement, their marble faces reflecting the golden light that intensifies with each passing moment. Merchants arrive carrying wicker baskets filled with fresh produce. Purple and golden grapes, still dewy from the morning, exude a sweet aroma that mingles with the scent of ripe figs and velvety peaches. Green and black olives, preserved in aromatic brine, gleam like small jewels in their ceramic vessels. The smell of cured cheeses, wrapped in vine leaves, adds a rich, earthy note to the olfactory bouquet that begins to fill the morning air. The fish stalls display the treasures of the Tyrrhenian Sea. Silvery gilt-head bream, their scales reflecting the light like tiny mirrors, rest on beds of fresh seaweed. The salty aroma of the ocean blends with the scent of aromatic herbs, basil, oregano, and thyme, that will be used to season the day's dishes. Octopuses with curled tentacles and translucent squids create artistic compositions that rival the sculptures of the Forum itself. Fabrics begin to be displayed in the covered tents. Oriental silks in shades of purple and scarlet gently ripple in the morning breeze, creating waves of colour that mesmerize the eye. Wools dyed with murex, the snail that produces the precious purple colour, display hues ranging from soft pink to deep violet. The touch of these fabrics is as soft as rose petals, and their value is so high that only the wealthiest citizens can afford them. Oriental spices begin to perfume the air with their exotic aromas. Cinnamon sticks, which arrived through the trade routes connecting Pompeii to the east, exhale a sweet and spicy scent. Black peppercorns, more valuable than gold, rest in small linen bags. Cumin, coriander, and cardamom create an olfactory symphony that transports the senses to distant lands, reminding everyone of Pompeii's privileged position on the Mediterranean trade routes. Jewelry and precious objects begin to sparkle under the growing light. Gold rings with inlaid gems, emeralds green as the sea, rubies red as wine, sapphires blue as the sky, capture and reflect the sunlight in thousands of tiny rainbows. Pearl necklaces, fished from the waters of the Red Sea, display a pearly luster that seems to contain the very light of the moon. These pieces are not just ornaments, but symbols of status and prosperity in a society that values both beauty and ostentation. Perfumes and aromatic unguents begin to be displayed in small bottles of colored glass. Rose oils, extracted from the freshest petals, promise to soften the skin and perfume the body with a celestial fragrance. Essences of jasmine, myrrh, and frankincense create an almost sacred atmosphere around the cosmetic stalls. These products, many imported from Egypt and Syria, represent the refinement and sophistication of a society that values both hygiene and personal beauty. Ceramics and household objects display the artistic skill of local artisans. Amphorae, decorated with mythological scenes, painted in red and black on a cream background, tell stories of gods and heroes. Terra sigillata plates, with their bright red surface, reflect the light like ceramic mirrors. Each piece is unique, hand-molded and decorated with patterns that blend Greek, Etruscan, and purely Roman influences. Local wines, produced on the fertile slopes of Vesuvius, begin to be tasted by the most discerning buyers. The volcanic soil gives the grapes a unique flavor, rich in minerals that translate into wines of exceptional quality. The fruity aroma blends with earthy notes, creating a complex bouquet that speaks of the generous land that nourishes the region. These wines, served in fine glass goblets or decorated ceramics, represent one of Pompeii's main riches. The market's movement creates a harmonious dance of colors, sounds, and aromas. Voices negotiating prices mingle with the clinking of bronze and silver coins, creating a commercial melody that echoes among the forum's columns. The sunlight, now more intense, makes every product, every smile, every negotiating gesture shine. This is Pompeii's vital pulse, a prosperous city where commerce flourishes under the protection of the gods and the benevolence of the Roman Empire. The Stabian baths open their ornate doors to welcome the first bathers of the day. The hot steam escaping from within creates small aromatic clouds that dissipate into the fresh morning air, carrying with them the scent of essential oils and medicinal herbs. The marble walls, heated by the Hippocrates system, radiate a gentle warmth that invites relaxation. The floor mosaics, depicting marine creatures and geometric patterns in shades of blue and white, seem to undulate under the light filtering through the high windows. The caldarium, the hottest room in the baths, is already enveloped in a comforting mist. The water, maintained at the perfect temperature by specialized slaves, reflects the mural paintings decorating the walls. Scenes of Neptune and his nymphs, dolphins playing among stylized waves, and underwater gardens populated by exotic fish. The sound of running water gently echoes through the brick vaults, creating an acoustics that amplifies every whisper into a relaxing melody. The humid air carries the aroma of lavender and rosemary, herbs added to the water for their therapeutic properties. In the tepidarium, the moderately heated room, warm marble benches await visitors. The walls are decorated with delicate frescoes depicting idyllic gardens, where colorful birds fly among exotic flowers and crystal-clear fountains. The filtered light creates an ambiance of golden twilight, perfect for the gradual transition between different temperatures. The scent of aromatic oils, rose, jasmine, and sandalwood, lingers in the air, mingling with the gentle steam that maintains the ideal humidity to relax muscles and calm the mind. The frigidarium offers a refreshing contrast with its cold water pool. The white marble of the edges, polished to shine like mirrors, reflects the light entering through the compluvium, the opening in the ceiling that allows natural light in. The crystal-clear water, constantly renewed by the aqueduct, maintains a temperature that awakens the senses and invigorates the body. The columns surrounding the pool are decorated with Corinthian capitals, their acanthus leaves sculpted with such perfection that they seem to sway in the imaginary breeze. The oils and unguents used in the baths create a unique olfactory symphony. Extra virgin olive oil, extracted from the olive trees on nearby hills, serves as a base for aromatic mixtures that nourish and protect the skin. Essences of myrrh and frankincense, imported from distant lands, add exotic notes that elevate the bath to an almost spiritual experience. The aroma of wild honey, used to soften and moisturize, blends with the scent of rose petals, creating a fragrance that lingers on the skin long after the bath. The hygiene and beauty instruments are works of art in themselves. Bronze strigils, used to remove oil and dirt from the skin, are decorated with intricate patterns that reflect light like small suns. Polished bronze mirrors, with carved handles depicting minor deities, allow bathers to admire the results of their care. Ivory combs, as fine as lace, glide smoothly through damp hair, detangling without causing pain. The architecture of the baths is a testament to Roman engineering. The brick vaults, built without the use of mortar in some sections, demonstrate the mastery of local builders. The underground heating system, fueled by furnaces that constantly burn wood, maintains the air and water at ideal temperatures through a complex network of ducts and chambers. This system, invisible to users, operates with clockwork precision, ensuring constant comfort. The gardens surrounding the baths offer a green and fragrant refuge. Palm trees brought from North Africa sway gently in the breeze, their leaves creating dancing shadows on the marble paths. Rose bushes laden with red and white flowers exhale a perfume that blends with the scent of jasmine and honeysuckle. Small ornamental fountains, fed by the same aqueduct that serves the baths, create cool spots where the sound of running water soothes the senses. The conversations echoing through the bath halls are relaxing whispers about business, politics, and social life. The gentle echo of voices, amplified by the special acoustics of the vaults, creates an atmosphere of intimacy and confidence. Discreet laughter mingles with sighs of contentment as bathers enjoy the simple pleasures of warm water and body care. These conversations, conducted in a low and respectful tone, reflect the civility and education of a refined society. Time seems to move more slowly inside the baths. Every movement is deliberate and graceful, every gesture calculated to maximize relaxation and pleasure. The light filtering through the high windows marks the passage of hours gently and gradually, without the urgency that characterizes other urban activities. Here, in the baths of Pompeii, time is a luxury that can be savored drop by drop, like the finest wine or the purest honey. Pompeii's commercial streets pulsate with the vibrant energy of trade at its peak. The Via dell'Abbondanza, the city's main artery, resonates with the rhythmic sound of sandals on volcanic stone and the melodious clinking of coins being counted. The shops, with their facades open to the street, display their wares like small theatres where each product is a leading actor. The aroma of fresh bread mingles with the scent of flowers, creating an atmosphere that invites both purchase and contemplation. The bakeries exude the irresistible scent of bread freshly baked from stone ovens. The round loaves, marked with 8 divisions that facilitate sharing, are still warm to the touch and crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. The aroma of toasted wheat blends with the smell of honey and olive oil, ingredients that enrich some special varieties. The bakers, with their flour-dusted hands and satisfied smiles, represent one of the most respected professions in the city, as they nourish both the body and the community spirit. The taverns and thermopolia begin to serve their morning specialties. Large ceramic jars, embedded in marble counters, hold aromatic wines, hot soups, and delicacies that attract both locals and visitors. The smell of sautéed onions mingles with the aroma of fresh herbs, basil, oregano, and parsley, creating a culinary symphony that awakens the appetite. The steam rising from the bronze pots adds an aromatic mist that makes each establishment a small gastronomic sanctuary. Artisans' workshops display creations that blend functionality and beauty. Potters shape elegantly formed vessels, their hands gliding over the damp clay with hypnotic movements that transform formless mass into works of art. The smell of fresh clay mingles with the aroma of paints and varnishes, creating a creative atmosphere that inspires both artists and admirers. Each piece that leaves these workshops carries the personal mark of its creator, making it unique and precious. Fabric shops display their goods like materialized rainbows. Silks that arrived via eastern trade routes ripple in the breeze, creating waves of color that capture and reflect the sunlight. Wools dyed with purple, extracted from sea snails, display hues ranging from soft pink to deep violet. The touch of these fabrics is soft as petals, and their value reflects both the quality of the materials and the skill of the weavers who created them. Jewelry stores sparkle with treasures that rival imperial palaces. Gold rings with inlaid gems capture the sunlight and transform it into tiny rainbows that dance across the walls. Pearl necklaces, fished from distant seas, display a pearly luster that seems to contain the very essence of the moon. Delicate earrings, forged by master goldsmiths, sway gently like small silent bells, creating movements that mesmerize the eye. Oriental spices transform their shops into small, aromatic paradises. Cinnamon sticks exude a sweet and spicy perfume that warms the heart, while black peppercorns promise to add fire to the most refined dishes. Saffron, more valuable than gold, dyes everything around it with a magical golden hue that seems to capture the very sunlight. These culinary treasures, brought from distant lands by brave merchants, represent Pompeii's connection to the known world. Bookstores and papyrus shops attract the city's intellectuals. Papyrus scrolls, carefully prepared and handwritten, contain the treasures of Greek and Roman literature. The smell of ink and papyrus blends with the aroma of beeswax, used to seal and preserve manuscripts. These shops are sanctuaries of knowledge, where the ideas of great philosophers and poets find new readers eager for wisdom and literary beauty. Perfumeries create atmospheres that transport the senses to celestial gardens. Essential rose oils, extracted from the freshest petals, promise to soften the skin and perfume the body with divine fragrances. Essences of jasmine, myrrh, and frankincense create unique combinations that reflect each user's personality. These perfumes, many imported from Egypt and Syria, are symbols of refinement and sophistication in a society that values both hygiene and personal beauty. The movement of the streets creates a harmonious dance of colors, sounds, and aromas. Merchants extolling the qualities of their products mingle with buyers carefully examining each item. The sound of coins being counted blends with laughter of satisfaction and exclamations of admiration. This commercial symphony, conducted under the generous Mediterranean sun, represents the vital pulse of a prosperous city that flourished thanks to its strategic position and the talent of its inhabitants. The elegant domus of Pompeii prepare to host lunch, a sacred moment that unites family, friends, and guests around tables laden with delicacies. The main atrium, with its central impluvium, where rainwater collects in a marble basin, reflects the midday sun, creating dancing patterns on the walls, decorated with vibrant frescoes. The scent of food being prepared in the kitchens mingles with the perfume of flowers from the internal gardens, creating an atmosphere that celebrates both gastronomic pleasures and architectural beauty. The triclinia, elegantly decorated dining rooms, await the diners with their dining couches arranged in a U shape. These couches, covered with fine linen fabrics and embroidered cushions, allow guests to recline comfortably while enjoying the meal. The walls are adorned with frescoes depicting bucolic scenes, flowering gardens, exotic birds, and maritime landscapes, creating the illusion of dining outdoors even while protected indoors. The low tables of noble wood, polished to a mirror-like shine, are covered with white linen tablecloths embroidered with golden threads. Upon them, silver and bronze plates reflect the light entering through the high windows, creating reflections that dance across the painted walls. Fine glass goblets, some imported from Alexandria, await to be filled with aromatic wines produced on the fertile slopes of Vesuvius. The gentle clinking of these utensils creates a delicate music that announces the start of the meal. The main dishes arrive from the kitchens, carrying aromas that awaken all senses. Fresh fish from the Bay of Naples, seasoned with aromatic herbs and extra virgin olive oil, exhale a maritime perfume that transports diners to the blue waters of the Mediterranean. Meats slowly roasted in brick ovens, seasoned with honey and oriental spices, create a sweet and savory combination that represents the refinement of Roman cuisine. Fresh fruits, arranged on silver platters like small works of art, add vibrant colors to the table. Purple and golden grapes, still dewy from the morning, gleam like edible jewels. Ripe figs, with their sweet and succulent pulp, promise a perfect end to the meal. Velvety peaches and fragrant plums complete this symphony of flavors that celebrates the generosity of the Campanian land. Local wines, served in bronze crateras decorated with mythological scenes, represent one of Pompeii's greatest riches. Vesuvius's volcanic soil imparts a unique flavor to the grapes, rich in minerals that translate into wines of exceptional quality. The fruity aroma blends with earthy notes, creating a complex bouquet that speaks of the generous land that nourishes the region. These wines, diluted with water according to Roman custom, perfectly accompany each dish served. Special breads, baked specifically for lunch, display artistic shapes that rival sculptures. Some are shaped like golden braids, others decorated with poppy or sesame seeds that add texture and flavor. The aroma of toasted wheat blends with the scent of honey and olive oil, ingredients that enrich these culinary creations. Each bread is a small, edible work of art that demonstrates the skill of local bakers. The conversations flowing during the meal are soft melodies that speak of business, art, politics, and social life. Voices blending in harmony, discreet laughter echoing through the decorated rooms, and the gentle clinking of goblets raised in toasts create a social symphony that represents the refinement of Pompeian society. These conversations, conducted in a respectful and polite tone, reflect the culture and civility of a prosperous city. The internal gardens, visible through the peristyle columns, offer a natural backdrop that complements the elegance of the meal. Rose bushes laden with red and white flowers exhale a perfume that blends with the scent of jasmine and honeysuckle. Small ornamental fountains create cool spots where the sound of running water soothes the senses and adds a natural soundtrack to the gastronomic experience. Lunchtime is sacred in Pompeii, a moment where the hustle of commerce gives way to contemplation and pleasure. Each bite is savored slowly, each sip of wine appreciated with reverence, each conversation conducted with the patience of one who knows that life's best moments deserve to be lived without haste. This midday pause represents not only nourishment for the body, but also sustenance for the soul and the strengthening of social bonds that keep the Pompeian community united. The Mediterranean midday heat envelops Pompeii like a warm, comforting embrace, inviting the entire city to a sacred pause. The volcanic stone streets, warmed by the generous sun, radiate a gentle heat that rises in almost invisible waves, creating an atmosphere of drowsiness that embraces every corner of the city. The gradual silence that settles is punctuated only by the whisper of the sea breeze that carries the salty aroma of the Bay of Naples and the sweet perfume of the flowers adorning private gardens. In the more elegant domus, families retreat to the cubicula, small, cool rooms decorated with delicate frescoes depicting pastoral and mythological scenes. The beds, covered with fine linen sheets imported from Egypt, offer a soft and cool refuge from the outside heat. The windows are covered with light curtains that filter the sunlight, creating a golden twilight that invites rest. The scent of lavender, placed in small sachets among the bedding, adds an aromatic note that calms the senses and facilitates relaxation. The peristyles, internal gardens surrounded by elegant columns, become oases of coolness during these hot hours. The central fountains gush crystal clear water that reflects the filtered light, creating dancing patterns on the painted walls around them. The The sound of running water blends with the rustle of palm and olive tree leaves that provide generous shade. Marble benches, strategically placed under the shadiest areas, offer perfect spots for silent contemplation or quiet reading. Workshops and shops close their doors during these sacred hours, respecting the natural rhythm imposed by the Mediterranean climate. The streets, once bustling with the coming and going of commerce, now display an almost monastic tranquility. Only the distant echo of occasional footsteps breaks the silence, creating an atmosphere of peace that allows the city to breathe and renew itself. The city dogs find cool shadows under awnings and porticos, their panting breaths gradually calming as they adapt to the slower pace of the afternoon. In the baths, some visitors more resistant to the heat enjoy the cold baths of the frigidarium. The icy water offers a refreshing contrast to the outside temperature, creating a sense of invigoration that awakens the senses. The steam rising from the cold water mixes with the warm air, creating small clouds that quickly dissipate. The marble edges of the pool, kept cool by the constant water, offer pleasant-to-the-touch surfaces that provide immediate relief from the heat. Public and private gardens display their maximum beauty during these golden hours. The flowers, protected from direct sun by the foliage of the trees, maintain their vibrant colors and intense perfumes. Red and white roses, fragrant lilies, and delicate violets create aromatic carpets that perfume the air with celestial fragrances. Bees, working tirelessly among the flowers, create a gentle melody with their constant buzzing, adding a natural soundtrack to this moment of pause. Private libraries, located in cool rooms of the most refined domus, receive dedicated readers who take advantage of these silent hours to immerse themselves in papyrus scrolls. The smell of ink and papyrus blends with the aroma of beeswax, creating an atmosphere conducive to concentration and intellectual contemplation. The light filtered by the curtains creates ideal conditions for reading, allowing the texts of Virgil, Ovid, and other masters of Latin literature to come alive in the minds of the readers. Vesuvius, majestic and silent in the distance, also seems to participate in this collective pause. Its verdant slopes, covered with vineyards and olive groves, shine under the afternoon sun like an emerald cloak that protects and blesses the region. Small white clouds form around its peak, creating shadows that move slowly across the slopes, providing moments of coolness for the luxuriant vegetation that grows in its fertile soil. In simpler homes, families gather in internal courtyards, where shade offers refuge from the heat. Whispered conversations, low laughter, and the gentle sound of children playing create an atmosphere of family intimacy that strengthens community ties. The smell of food slowly being prepared for dinner begins to mingle with the floral aromas, announcing that the day will continue with new gastronomic pleasures when the sun begins to decline. This sacred midday pause represents more than simple rest. It is a moment of communion with the natural rhythm of Mediterranean life. Time seems to move more slowly, allowing each breath to be deeper, each thought clearer, each sensation more intense. Pompeii, in its ancient wisdom, understands that life's best moments cannot be rushed, but must be savored like the finest wine, drop by drop, sigh by sigh. The afternoon sun begins its gradual descent towards the horizon, painting Pompeii's sky with golden hues that reflect on the terracotta tiles and white marble columns. The city slowly awakens from its Vesuvian siesta, like a sleeping beauty stretching under the softer, more welcoming light. The intense midday heat gives way to a milder temperature, inviting Pompeians to resume their activities with renewed energy. The sea breeze intensifies, bringing with it the refreshing aroma of sea salt mingled with the perfume of flowers that begin to open again. The doors of shops and workshops open one by one, revealing interiors that were kept cool during the hottest hours. Merchants with renewed smiles and restored energy begin to rearrange their goods and welcome the first afternoon customers. The clinking of coins once again echoes through the streets, mingling with animated voices discussing business and exchanging daily news. The volcanic stone streets, still warm from the afternoon sun, begin to fill again with the characteristic movement of a prosperous city. The baths experience a second wave of activity, as those who prefer to avoid the morning crowds come to enjoy the relaxing baths. The steam escaping from the heated rooms creates small aromatic clouds that dissipate into the cooler afternoon air. The contrast between the now milder outside temperature and the humid heat of the baths creates an even more pleasurable experience. The sound of running water echoes through the brick vaults, creating an aquatic symphony that invites relaxation and renewal. Public and private gardens gain new life with the golden afternoon light. The flowers, which protected themselves from the intense sun, now fully open, displaying their vibrant colours and releasing intense perfumes that scent the air. Bees and butterflies resume their work among the petals, creating a natural ballet that adds movement and life to the green spaces. The sound of running water from the ornamental fountains blends with the rustle of leaves swaying in the growing breeze. The bakeries begin to prepare bread for dinner, and again the irresistible aroma of toasted wheat spreads through the streets. The stone ovens, reheated after the midday break, once again produce fresh bread that will feed families during the evening meal. The scent of honey and olive oil, ingredients that enrich some special varieties, blends with the basic aroma of bread, creating an olfactory symphony that awakens the appetite and announces that the day still holds gastronomic pleasures. The taverns and thermopolia begin to prepare for the afternoon rush, when workers and travellers seek refreshments and light meals. Large ceramic jars are refilled with fresh wines and aromatic drinks that promise to refresh and invigorate. The smell of onions being sautéed once again spreads through the air, mingling with the aroma of fresh herbs that will be used to season the afternoon dishes. The steam rising from the bronze pots creates a welcoming atmosphere that invites both nourishment and socialization. Artisans' workshops resume their activities with renewed energy. The rhythmic sound of hammers on metal once again echoes through the streets, mingling with the whirring of potter's wheels and the whisper of brushes on ceramics. The smell of damp clay blends with the aroma of paints and varnishes, creating a creative atmosphere that inspires both artists and admirers. Each piece that leaves these workshops during the afternoon carries not only technical skill, but also the renewed energy of artisans who have rested and prepared to create. The movement in the streets creates a harmonious dance different from the morning, more relaxed, more contemplative, but equally vibrant. People walk with less hurried steps, stopping to chat with neighbours and admire the displayed goods. Children play in the courtyards and smaller streets, their laughter creating a joyful soundtrack that blends with the adults' conversations. This more relaxed atmosphere reflects the wisdom of a society that understands the importance of balance between work and rest. Shadows begin to lengthen, creating interesting geometric patterns on the streets and squares. The forum columns cast long shadows that move slowly as the sun continues its journey, creating a natural sundial that marks the passage of time. This dance of light and shadow adds an artistic dimension to the urban environment, transforming functional spaces into constantly changing natural art galleries. The golden afternoon light bestows a special beauty upon Pompeii, as if the city were bathed in liquid honey. Every marble surface glows with a soft radiance. Every fresco gains richer and deeper colours. Every garden transforms into a small, earthly paradise. This is the magic hour when Pompeii reveals all its beauty and prosperity, when the harmony between nature and architecture, between work and pleasure, between individual and collective, manifests in its most perfect form. The most refined domus of Pompeii prepare for dinner, the most important moment of the Roman social day. The dining rooms, the triclinia, are illuminated by bronze lamps that create an intimate and welcoming atmosphere. The golden, flickering light dances across the walls decorated with elaborate frescoes, making the mythological scenes seem to come alive. The aroma of incense burning in small braziers mingles with the perfume of fresh flowers adorning the tables, creating an atmosphere that elevates dinner to an almost sacred experience. The low tables of noble wood are covered with fine linen tablecloths embroidered with gold and silver threads. Upon them, Polished silver plates reflect the light of the lamps, creating reflections that dance like tiny stars. Goblets of coloured glass, some imported from Alexandria and others produced in local workshops, await to be filled with the region's finest wines. The gentle clinking of these precious utensils creates a delicate music that announces the beginning of a refined gastronomic experience. The main dishes arrive from the kitchens as small, edible works of art. Noble fish from the Mediterranean, prepared with complex sauces that blend honey, wine, and oriental spices, exude aromas that transport diners to a world of exotic flavors. Meats slowly roasted and seasoned with aromatic herbs from the garden create flavor combinations that represent the pinnacle of Roman cuisine. Each dish is presented not just as food, but as an artistic expression that pleases both the eyes and the palate. The most refined delicacies demonstrate the sophistication of the Pompeian table. Fresh oysters, brought from the purest waters of the Mediterranean, are served with delicate sauces that enhance their natural maritime flavor. Goose liver partes, seasoned with wine and spices, are served on slices of toasted bread that melt in the mouth. Cured cheeses, aged in special cellars, offer complex flavors that develop slowly on the palate, revealing notes ranging from sweet to spicy. The wines served during dinner represent the best of local and imported production. Wines from the slopes of Vesuvius, with their unique flavor imparted by the volcanic soil, are served alongside Greek and Gallic wines that arrive via trade routes. Each wine is served at the ideal temperature and in specific glasses that enhance its unique characteristics. The ritual of serving wine, with its careful dilutions and aromatic mixtures, transforms each sip into a complete sensory experience. Desserts are small treasures that conclude the meal with sweetness and elegance. Wild honey, collected from nearby hills, is served with fresh cheeses and dried fruits, creating combinations that perfectly balance sweet and savory. Delicate cakes, made with fine flour and fresh eggs, are decorated with candied fruits that shine like edible jewels. Sweet wines, served in small coloured glass goblets, accompany these delights, providing a perfect end to the gastronomic experience. The conversations flowing during dinner are true intellectual symphonies. Discussions about philosophy, literature, politics, and art mingle with personal anecdotes and observations about daily life. Educated and modulated voices create an atmosphere of civility and refinement that reflects the sophisticated culture of Pompeian society. Discreet laughter punctuates the conversations, creating moments of lightness that balance more serious discussions. The entertainments accompanying dinner add artistic dimensions to the experience. Musicians play lyres and flutes, creating soft melodies that serve as a soundtrack to the conversations. Dancers perform graceful movements that mesmerize the eye without interrupting the flow of conversation. Poets recite verses from Virgil and Ovid, adding literary beauty to the already refined ambience. These entertainments, conducted with discretion and elegance, elevate dinner to a complete cultural experience. The gardens visible through the peristyle columns offer a natural backdrop that complements the interior elegance. Torches lit in bronze stands illuminate the plants and flowers, creating dancing shadows that add movement and mystery to the environment. The nocturnal perfume of flowers, jasmine, honeysuckle, and roses, intensifies with the coolness of the night, creating a romantic atmosphere that envelops the diners. The gentle sound of running water from the ornamental fountains blends with the music and conversations, creating a natural symphony that cradles the entire experience. Dinner time is sacred in Pompeii, a moment where the day's haste gives way to contemplation and refined pleasure. Each dish is savoured slowly, each sip of wine appreciated with reverence, each conversation conducted with the patience of one who understands that life's best moments deserve to be lived without haste. This evening celebration represents not only nourishment for the body, but also sustenance for the soul and the strengthening of the social bonds that define Roman civilization at its peak. The sun begins its majestic farewell on the horizon of the Bay of Naples, painting Pompeii's sky with a palette of colours that rivals the city's most beautiful frescoes. Golden hues blend with soft pinks and vibrant oranges, creating a celestial spectacle reflected in the calm waters of the port and the polished surfaces of the marble buildings. The twilight light bestows an ethereal beauty upon the city, as if Pompeii were bathed in divine light that transforms every stone, every column, every garden into elements of a golden dream. The streets begin to light up with oil lamps that create small circles of golden light along the main paths. These lights, reflecting on the volcanic stones polished by decades of use, create a luminous path that guides the nocturnal steps of the Pompeians. The gentle scent of burning olive oil mingles with the perfume of night-blooming flowers that begin to open, creating an atmosphere that invites both contemplation and romance. The sound of footsteps on the stone softly echoes between the buildings, creating an urban music that cradles the end of the day. The Forum, the city's heart, gains a special majesty under the twilight light. Its white marble columns seem to glow with their own light, reflecting the last sunbeams and casting long shadows that stretch across the travertine floor. The statues of emperors and deities, illuminated by the golden light, seem to come alive, as if the gods and heroes of Rome came to personally bless this prosperous city. The soft echo of distant voices creates an atmosphere of reverence that transforms the public space into an open-air temple. The baths experience a magical moment when natural light mixes with artificial illumination. The steam escaping from the heated rooms creates golden clouds that slowly dissipate into the cool night air. The floor mosaics, depicting marine creatures and geometric patterns, gain deeper and more mysterious colors under this special light. The sound of running water echoes through the vaults with a different quality, more musical and contemplative, inviting relaxing baths that prepare the body and mind for nocturnal rest. Private gardens transform into small nocturnal paradises, where nature displays its most subtle beauty. The flowers that close during the day's heat begin to open again, releasing intense perfumes that intensify with the growing coolness. Jasmine, honeysuckle, and night-blooming cereus create an olfactory symphony that intoxicates the senses and invites contemplation. Ornamental fountains, illuminated by strategically placed torches, create plays of light and shadow on the running water that mesmerize the eye. The taverns and thermopolia gain a more intimate and welcoming atmosphere with the arrival of night. Bronze lamps create small circles of golden light where groups of friends gather to share wine and conversations. The smell of hot food mingles with the aroma of aromatic wine, creating an atmosphere that invites both nourishment and socialization. Animated voices blend with discreet laughter, creating an urban soundtrack that speaks of a united and prosperous community. Artisans' workshops begin to prepare for rest, but some still show signs of activity. The light from the forges creates reddish reflections that dance across the walls, while the rhythmic sound of hammers on metal gradually diminishes in intensity. The smell of heated metal blends with the aroma of wood and clay, creating an atmosphere that speaks of the honest work and creativity that flourishes in Pompeii. These workshops, even at rest, radiate the creative energy that makes the city a center of art and commerce. Vesuvius, majestic and silent in the distance, also seems to participate in this twilight celebration. Its verdant slopes, now bathed in the golden light of the setting sun, shine like an emerald cloak embroidered with threads of gold. Small pinkish clouds form around its peak, creating a celestial crown that adds majesty to the landscape. The mountain, benevolent protector of the region, silently observes this jewel of the Roman Empire, its fertile slopes promising more days of prosperity and abundance. Private homes begin to light up from within, creating small beacons of family life that dot the urban landscape. Through open windows, one can glimpse scenes of domestic intimacy, families gathered around illuminated tables, children playing in internal courtyards, adults conversing in decorated triclinia. These scenes, framed by the elegant architecture of the domus, create a human mosaic that speaks of Pompeii's wealth, not only material, but also emotional and social. This twilight moment represents the perfect transition between the active day and the contemplative night. The city, which during the day pulsed with the energy of commerce and social activities, now prepares for a well-deserved rest. Every light that turns on, every perfume that intensifies, every sound that softens contributes to creating an atmosphere of peace and contentment that cradles Pompeii towards the night. It is a moment of silent gratitude for another day of prosperity and beauty in one of the most privileged cities of the Roman world. Night envelops Pompeii like a cloak of dark blue velvet embroidered with silver stars that shine intensely in the clear Mediterranean sky. The crescent moon, like a luminous pearl suspended in the firmament, bathes the city with its soft, silvery light that transforms every marble surface into celestial mirrors. The gradual silence that settles is punctuated only by the softest sounds, the whisper of the sea breeze between the columns, the distant murmur of waves breaking against the harbour moles, and the almost imperceptible echo of late footsteps on the polished stones of the main streets. The oil lamps illuminating the main streets create small oases of golden light that stretch like a luminous necklace through the sleeping city. These lights, reflecting on the polished surfaces of the volcanic stones, create a path of earthly stars that guides the last nocturnal passers-by. The gentle scent of burning olive oil mingles with the intense perfume of night-blooming flowers, jasmine, night-blooming cereus, and honeysuckle, which release their most intense fragrances during the cool hours of dawn, creating an atmosphere that invites contemplation and romance. The most elegant domes display a serene beauty under the moonlight. Their internal courtyards, the peristyles, become small open-air temples where the moon's silvery light reflects in the calm waters of the impluvia and on the polished surfaces of the marble columns. The shadows of plants and trees create geometric patterns that dance gently with the breeze, transforming these spaces into natural art galleries that constantly change. The sound of running water from the ornamental fountains gently echoes through the colonnades, creating an aquatic soundtrack that cradles the residents' dreams. Private gardens transform into small nocturnal paradises, where nature reveals its most intimate secrets. Flowers that remained closed during the day's heat now open completely, revealing petals that shine like silk under the moonlight. The perfume of these night-blooming flowers intensifies with the growing coolness, creating an intoxicating atmosphere that invites silent contemplation. Small nocturnal animals, crickets, cicadas, and owls, create a natural symphony that adds life and movement to these green spaces. The baths, still open for the latest bathers, offer a unique experience under the starry sky. The contrast between the warm water of the pools and the cool night air creates sensations that awaken all senses. The steam rising from the heated water mixes with the night air, creating silvery clouds that slowly dissipate under the stars. The sound of running water echoes through the vaults with a special quality, more musical and contemplative, providing a relaxing experience that perfectly prepares for restorative sleep. The taverns that remain open create small refuges of human warmth and golden light. Groups of friends gather around lamp-lit tables, sharing aromatic wine and intimate conversations that stretch into the night. The smell of wine mingles with the aroma of hot food and spices, creating a welcoming atmosphere that contrasts pleasantly with the growing coolness of the night. Voices conversing in low tones and discreet laughter create a human soundtrack that speaks of friendship and community. Pompeii's harbour gains a special beauty under the starlight. Merchant ships, anchored for the night, sway gently in the calm waters of the Gulf, their masts creating a forest of vertical lines against the starry sky. The gentle sound of water lapping against the wooden hulls blends with the almost imperceptible creaking of ropes and sails, creating a maritime music that cradles the coastal city. The salty smell of the sea intensifies with the night breeze, reminding everyone of Pompeii's vital connection to the Mediterranean. The secondary streets, now deserted, display a melancholic beauty under the moonlight. The volcanic stones, polished by decades of use, shine like dark mirrors that reflect the silvery light of the stars. The shadows of the buildings create complex geometric patterns that stretch across the sidewalks, transforming these functional paths into abstract art galleries. The occasional echo of distant footsteps adds a sonic dimension, that enhances the sense of peace and security characteristic of this prosperous city. Vesuvius, silent and majestic against the starry sky, benevolently observes its protected city. Its slopes, now plunged into bluish shadows, create an imposing silhouette that stands out against the stars. Small lights dot its slopes, lamps from rural villas and farms that produce the wine and food that sustain Pompeii. This protective mountain, with its fertile soils and pure waters, represents nature's generosity that allows this region to flourish as one of the jewels of the Roman Empire. Night in Pompeii is more than an absence of light. It is a presence of peace, beauty, and harmony between the human and the divine. Every star that shines in the sky, every perfume that intensifies in the fresh air, every soft sound that echoes through the streets contributes to creating an atmosphere of perfect serenity. This is the hour when Pompeii reveals its deepest soul, when material prosperity transforms into spiritual contentment, when a city becomes not just a place to live, but a sanctuary to dream. Under this starry sky, protected by its benevolent mountain, Pompeii sleeps in peace, confident in another tomorrow of prosperity and beauty. As night embraces Pompeii with its infinite serenity, it is impossible not to reflect on the precious fragility of this perfect moment. This city, which for 24 hours displayed all its beauty, prosperity, and harmony, represents much more than a mere urban center of the Roman Empire. It symbolizes the human capacity to create lasting beauty, to build prosperous communities, to find balance between work and contemplation, between individual and collective, between the earthly and the divine. Every stone carefully placed in the streets, every fresco lovingly painted on the walls, every garden patiently cultivated, every meal artfully prepared, represents the investment of generations of people who believed in the future, who built not only for themselves, but for their children and grandchildren. Pompeii is living testimony that human civilization, at its best, can create small earthly paradises where beauty and functionality meet in perfect harmony. The routine we followed, from the golden awakening to the starry slumber, reveals the wisdom of a society that understood the importance of life's natural rhythm. The balance between activity and rest, between work and pleasure, between public and private, between material and spiritual, created a quality of life that still serves as inspiration today. Pompeii teaches us that true prosperity is not measured solely in material wealth, but in the ability to create moments of beauty and meaning in everyday life. What makes this reflection even more poignant is the awareness that all this beauty, all this prosperous life, all this perfect harmony is about to be interrupted forever. Tomorrow, Vesuvius, the same mountain that blessed this region with fertile soils and majestic landscapes, will transform protection into destruction, generosity into tragedy. But perhaps it is precisely this fragility that makes each moment more precious, each gesture more significant, each breath more sacred. Pompeii reminds us that life, in its purest essence, is made of moments like these: golden mornings that awaken with promises, afternoons that unfold in simple pleasures, nights that cradle peaceful dreams. It is not the grand historical events that define the quality of a life, but the ability to find beauty and meaning in daily rhythms, in small joys, in gestures of love and care that weave the fabric of human existence. Pompeii's eternity does not lie in its physical preservation in volcanic ash, but in its ability to teach us, across the centuries, about what truly matters in human life. Every time someone stops to admire a sunset, every time a family gathers around a table, every time friends share conversations and laughter, every time someone finds peace in a fragrant garden, the spirit of Pompeii is reborn and lives on. Perhaps the greatest lesson this eternal city offers us is the understanding that true immortality is not about avoiding the end, but about living each moment with such intensity and beauty that it becomes eternal. Pompeii, in its last 24 hours of normal life, shows us how to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, how to find the sacred in the everyday, how to create small paradises, even knowing they are temporary. Thus, as the city falls asleep under its blanket of stars, protected by the majestic silhouette of Vesuvius, it invites us to reflect on our own lives. May we learn from Pompeii to value each sunrise, to savor each meal, to cultivate each relationship, to create beauty in our spaces, to find balance in our rhythms, and to live each day as if it were both the first and the last, because in essence, it always is.